BraveFathers.com.
Welcome to the Brave Fathers Show. And now, the prophecy.
All right, so today we are dealing with the fake gender wars. We are looking at family courts, men in family courts, divorce, and we are asking the question, can men really get back their power? And do men have power at all? And have we had power? We're looking into all that, but I'm just happy because I have found my favorite pen yesterday. If you were live, whoa, with us, I thought I'd lost my favorite pen in court. But it turns out I didn't lose it. It was in one of my pockets where I don't usually keep it. So because of that, I couldn't find it, which caused me great distress because I love this pen. I like to write with pen and paper whenever I'm preparing for a court case or writing my own fiction or writing anything, my ideas. When I write my ideas down, I like to use pen and paper. So when I have a good pen, it makes me happy. And pen and paper is good because it just gives you that tactile feeling. You know, you're really connected with your thoughts. You're like Aristotle or one of the, what's his name, Socrates. You know, like a philosopher and shit. You know, like writing down your thoughts, your ideas, like Shakespeare and that. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching this video. And we are going to dive into some of these topics. But first, I want to tell a story because it looks like I'm in conflict with a lot of people over my ideas. So I want to tell a story of something that happened to me years ago. So I was dating this girl, and I found her very, very attractive. She was very attractive. Still is an attractive woman. She's married now, so I cannot reveal who she was for obvious reasons, and there's no need. But a very beautiful woman, athletic. I like that. I like when women are athletic because it gives their hips that firm shape that I enjoy. And I really like that. Turns me on sexually. And so this woman, I was sleeping over at her place at the time. We had been seeing each other for a while then, but you know, in those days I wasn't as clear with what I wanted as I am now. So one Sunday morning, she was supposed to go out, which is cool. We had an arrangement where I could sleep over even if she wasn't there. But then she decided to wake me up before going. And the reason why she woke me up was that she wanted to have sex, right? Which really irritated me because I don't like sex in the morning most times, and definitely don't like sex in the morning if I'm sleeping. So if I'm awake, I'm cool with it, right? If I'm already awake. But I don't like to be waking up for sex. It's something that really, really annoys me. I don't like to be waking up for any reason outside of the time that I have set for myself to wake up. So as you can imagine, I told her like, look, not to wake me up. I went back to sleep. I tried to go back to sleep because she was like angry and offended. And at the time, had my work actually needed me on Sunday, so they sent me a message. I think like 30 minutes later or something that I should come over to work. So we ended up leaving the house at the same time. No, we did not have sex that morning because I was trying to get my sleep. And she was angry, right? She was like, why? And she didn't show the anger, but later when I was speaking to her, I was telling her something, and she was like, why are you telling me all this? I was like, what's wrong with you? And she said like she didn't understand why I didn't have sex with her in the morning. I said, look, I told you I was sleeping. You know, I don't like to be waking up. And she's like, yeah, she just wanted to do it with me before she left to do whatever she was doing that day. I said, yeah, but I told you, no, don't wake me up. And I've had similar incidents here and there. So that's why now when I enter a relationship, I let the lady know that do not wake me up. do not do that. Even in the middle of the night, please do not wake me up for sex, because I like my sleep a lot, you know. I really like it. So I don't see why anybody should wake me up for any reason, except, of course, an emergency. And the reason why I bring up this story is that just actually minutes before I went live, there was a gentleman who decided to state that women control access to sex. And I've seen this argument a lot across Red Pill and all this pickup artist stuff. And I think it's a very interesting thing, an interesting phenomenon for a lot of males to believe that. And I think it's one of the outcomes of the fake gender war that we have right now. So I want to address that part. And the reason why it's fake in this context is that it's not true that women control access to sex. Women, of course, control access to their own bodies because that's their body, right? And men control access to their bodies. And men also reject women for sex. Yes, as men, we lead, so we take the first step. So a woman can say yes or no. But when she says no, there's always another woman who will say yes. There's no shortage of women who want to have sex. So after thinking the matter through, I realized that most guys don't approach enough women. Most guys settle for women who are not really sexually attracted to them. They even marry such women. So that creates the illusion in their minds that women control access to sex. You see, because I'm not married now, but if a wife said to me she's not giving me sex, I'll have zero guilt or uh, inhibition about going to have sex with another woman. I'll just tell her, listen, then I'm gonna sleep with somebody else, right? And overall, I'm not a monogamous kind of guy, so perhaps it's easier for me. But I can never imagine agreeing to a woman, you know, telling me I can't have sex because she says no. Like, of course, it's fine. I don't have to have sex with you, but I'm gonna do it with somebody else. And yes, when I was younger, I have had relationships where um, one or two girlfriends come to mind where like they would say no. I cheated on both of them. And I say cheated because I did not tell them upfront. Well, I told them afterwards. Like I've never been the kind of guy to hide that I'm seeing somebody else. The difference is that now I let women know straight away that this is what I'm about. And many of them don't like it. Many don't care. Many are looking for somebody who is like that. But that's my lifestyle, right? And I understand that if you're monogamous, you only have sex with one woman. But in that case, you have to marry a woman who wants you. Ideally, she wants you more than you want her. But then we come to another point because now people think dating is ruined. And I don't think dating is ruined, but we come back to the same point, saying feminism has ruined dating or dating apps and so on and so forth. Women have all these choices and all that stuff. The truth is, women don't have all these choices. They have an illusion of all these choices because they have a lot of guys going after them in very passive ways, I might add, for the most part, which is not attractive to women. Imagine that you have $1 million, right? And you have so much money that you can go and shop for anything you want. But the only shop that's open in town is the dollar store, right? So technically you could go and buy 1 million things, but you don't want 1 million things from a dollar store. When you have $1 million, you want to shop in an expensive store. You want to get, the things from the top shelf. You want the nice things. But it's the same thing with women. They have a lot of guys chasing after them, right? And we'll talk about that in a moment as well. But most of those guys is not what the woman wants. So she doesn't have a choice. Now, you may think, oh, she's got athletes, she's got rich guys, she's got actors, businessmen, CEOs, and so forth in her DMs. So she's got choice. No. That's another lie that people believe. And I understand why they believe it, because truly most people have not really had exposure to real dating, and that includes pickup artists. Because pickup artists and red pillers, they don't go out meeting women as themselves. They put on a persona. And the truth is, when you go out approaching women as yourself, as your true self, you encounter a lot more rejections in the beginning than you would otherwise. And most guys cannot overcome that stage. So what they do is they give up on dating altogether, right? And then we have the fantasy of meeting the one where, like, you look at her, she looks at you, and it's all perfect, and you ride off into the sunset. And that's not how dating works in real life. You do have to deal with rejection, which is what most guys don't want to do. So the reason why I say it's also part of the fake gender war is that what really happens, from my observation, is a person who hates men will put out something, right? They'll put out a tweet, they'll put out a post, a book, a video, whatever. And they put out a lot of stuff. And then men react to certain things above others. So then the people who put out the stuff know what hurts men, what affects men. And so they put out more of the stuff that people react to, because that's how they get views. So in essence, it's the men's responses that are fueling the gender war in that regard, because, or the fake gender war, because the person putting out the post doesn't know what gets to you, because most of the women who do that kind of stuff are not successful at dating. They don't attract the men they want. They are not desirable by confident men. And any man who gets close to them gets repelled very quickly, because those females hate men. So naturally, they will not be very attractive. And the issue is that a lot of men will actually compromise their values as well in order to get sex. And they think it's normal. Pickup artists fall in that category. So I've seen videos where guys will talk about talking to a woman for 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours just to get sex. And because the society makes it look like it's normal, right? Then it just becomes perpetuated. People keep doing it, and people keep pursuing women when they should dump those women. So a lot of guys are married to women they should not have married, and they only find out after divorce. They only find out after divorce. One of the first steps when I work with a man who is going through divorce is to help him realize that he shouldn't have married the woman in the first place. Not a lot of guys like it, but when they go through the process and they realize it, they now understand all the things that happened in the beginning. They now see the traps that were set for them early on in the relationship. Because if a woman is not truly interested in you, she will set traps for you. Because that's the only way she can win the divorce that she knows is coming at some point. Sometimes it comes earlier, sometimes it comes earlier, but it always comes. Or you end up in a sexless marriage, and people think, oh, it's normal. After these years, you end up living like roommates. No, you don't. It only happens to you because you didn't know better and you chose the wrong person. And this is why I have issue with all the dating coaches for married men who teach them how to get their wives back, how to bring back the spark in the bedroom, which is a fool's errand. Because first of all, sex is not worth compromising yourself for. If somebody doesn't want you, the person is not interested in you, then that means that person is not worth pursuing. Whereas men are brainwashed to think that every woman that looks good to them is worth pursuing. And they are brainwashed to overlook the fact that a woman can tell you want her and she'll take advantage of you if you continue to pursue her. Right? And I'm not saying it's right, but I can't blame a woman in this regard, because if you insist on buying her stuff, you insist on taking her to dinners, you insist on giving her attention when she keeps letting you know she's not interested, then whose fault is it? When she says, "Nah, I'm not interested," and you say, "Oh, but can we go to coffee? Just a coffee, you know?" And then she says, "All right." And then you take her out, right? You cannot then blame this woman for taking advantage of the guy. I'm not saying she's right to do it because she is wrong. But that's how the traps are set. Because one of the biggest traps we all know in the family court is the false allegations. But now let's rewind though. Let's look at what happens in reality. So you meet this woman, let's say on a dating app, right? Like many people do. And you send her a text, "Hey, I want us to get together for a drink." And she says, "No, I'd rather do dinner instead." That is already a test, right? And the people fail the test because the only way to pass the test is to cut the woman off right away. It's like the original, I think it was Tron. I can't remember if that's the movie. The only way to win, I'm confusing it with another movie, but the only way to win is not to play the game. But she is testing to see if you are going to bend to her will, if you are going to do what she says. And the pickup artist and the red pill will tell you, hold your frame. I think that's what it means, and then she will respect you. No, you dump her, you let her go. And then go on to the next one. But most guys will say, oh, let's go for the dinner, right? Because they'll think, oh, it's just a dinner, it's reasonable. And here's the trap. She already sees that you will push through her resistance. So now you go home, right? You text her, let's say after the dinner, you go for dinner. She gives you a kiss on the cheek, and you think, oh, the conversation was good, which means nothing. She gave me a kiss on the cheek, which means nothing. And she wants to see me again, which means nothing. But you will think, oh, this is great. She's thinking, he looks like he might be a good husband or boyfriend. Let's see where this goes. But her definition of a husband and your definition of a husband are two different things. Two different things. And again, men are brainwashed to think that the woman's definition is more valid than the man's definition of either a wife or boy or husband, wife or girlfriend. So now you've gone home, she sees you again. Now you try to she gave you a kiss on the cheek, you want to kiss her again or something, and she's pulling back, right? You think it's normal. You think it's normal, right? You think, oh, she's just shy, she's not comfortable, or whatever. No, but she knows what she's doing. Because if she really was into you, like really, really, she would kiss you. But pickup artists will now bullshit you, and red pill will bullshit you that, oh, if you keep going, she will give in, which is true. And I'm not here to say that she doesn't have any interest with you at all, but she's not like, she doesn't see you as the top shelf guy, right? And for many guys, that's good enough, but they don't see the trap. So we are looking at the trap. So let's say she has the guys that she's like, never. Then she has like the guys that are just orbiters around her, right? Then she has guys like, I'll date him, I'll fuck him, guys I'll marry. And then she has the guy that she really wants. That if he says we're only having sex, she'll do that. If he says let's get married, she'll do that. If he says let's just be boyfriend and girlfriend for 7 years, she'll do that. She has that guy, right? And that's the guy she desires the most. But if she's pulling back, you're not the top shelf guy, because she's not going to risk losing the top shelf guy. She'll just follow his lead because she knows that's the safest choice for her to keep him. So where's the trap? So now, when you continue seeing this woman, she pulls back, but you persist. So she knows that if she denies you sex, you are not going to leave her. How does she know? Because you are still there. Because you are still there. And because men think wrongly that women like sex less than men, right? Let me just write this down. Women like sex less than men. That's what men think. And there's bullshit studies and nonsense to prove that's true. but I'll prove to you right away that is wrong uh, um, in a moment. But because guys think that, they'll continue pursuing the woman. So like you're still seeing her. And then she ends up kissing you. You make a move to have sex, she pulls back, you still make the move, right? So now she's convinced that she's got you under her control, which she does. And where pickup artists and Red Pill goes wrong is they think you have done something to get the woman. You have done nothing to get the woman because women want sex just like men do. And I would argue they want it more. So my proof is why, upon all the sex that they have access to, all the men chasing them, all the men they are fucking, why do they still buy dildos? Why do they still buy all these sex toys? Why? Like you don't see guys buying flashlights and robot dolls. Like yeah, there are plans to make it, but most guys don't buy those things. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. You know, but most guys don't spend money. Yes, they spend money on porn and all that stuff, but they don't actually buy sex toys, right? Men are very simple when it comes to that. But women are the ones who have all these wild fantasies. And on top of that, read a romance novel. Like when you read a romance novel, you see how much women like sex. And this, listen, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, romance novels. I don't know how much porn guys watch, right? I don't know the statistics. But I don't think guys are capable of watching porn from morning to evening every day, the way women read romance novels, because they also have the audiobooks that they listen to. So you see them on the train, reading that, on the tube, on the underground, on the bus, at work during break time. Then they'll talk about it. They'll watch some chick flick. Like they're always about sex, relationship, romances. They're always engrossed in that. And when you read about what they like, it just shows you that they are way more obsessed about sex than men. The only reason why it appears that men want it more is society has been engineered in a way that men don't know how to attract enough sex. Men have been brainwashed to think that if a woman is opening her legs, that's a blessing, and you must hold on to that vagina for as long as you can and do whatever it takes to hold on to that pussy. So because of that, it creates that illusion. That's why I told the story in the beginning of the beautiful girl who woke me up in the morning when we were seeing each other to have sex, and I said no. And because I was rolling at the time with mostly players and guys who knew what's up, we all knew that we reject a lot. We reject girls. We don't say yes to every girl. You don't say to a girl yes every time. So it was later on, like especially after the internet became big, that the phenomenon of guys say women control access to sex, which is not true. Like women will beg you for sex. Women will pay you for sex in many instances. They will. Now, I'm not saying every woman, but think about it. You don't want every woman also. You only want a certain small spectrum of women. I would argue you are not interested in at least 80% of the women out there. Like, let's be honest. When you go outside and you see all these females, you're not saying, I'm interested in every one of them. It's just a few. And then there's a few that you're like, yeah, that's my type. I really like that. Right? You see a few women, you're like, I'm really into her. You're not really interested in every woman. You might sleep with a lot more than is your top tier, right? Because we have a bit of a different biological drive. But you still don't want all of them. And it's the same thing with women. Imagine a nightclub where no guy made a move on a girl. The girls inside would go crazy. That is why there isn't a single nightclub in the world where there's zero male presence. There isn't one, because it won't make any money. All the gyms that they've tried to make for women only fail. They don't last long. right? All the bars and stuff that are for women only, they don't last long. Why? Because women need that male attention. You see, but to me, the gender war is basically confusing men, lying to men, and making them feel powerless and making them think they can't be attractive. Now, of course, if you didn't develop yourself as a man, right, from childhood because you were brainwashed to discard your masculinity, like I spoke yesterday and I'll be speaking about, is that we are taught to discard our masculinity, especially these days, right? For these boys coming up, they teach them, to be less competitive, to be less aggressive, to be less confident, essentially. So because of that, these boys will reach the age of 18, 19, 20, 21 and above, 30, 40 as they keep growing older, without having developed the qualities that make them attractive to women. The qualities that a man has, his behavioral qualities that make them attractive to women, because women are primarily attracted to men's behavior, but not just any behavior, there's specific traits. And it is not good to fake those traits like pickup artists do, like the red pill does. You don't fake them, because that's why, you see, that's why when they say, oh, hypergamy and all that bullshit, yeah, because you are not developing yourself as a man. You are relying on your money. You're relying on your status. But as I keep saying, every beauty pageant girl you see has some hood nigga fucking her. She has got somebody who you will look down upon, who is fucking her. But she's not gonna do it in public because she'll be judged for it. And then the money she gets from you, the rich people, from the beauty pageants, for whatever she does, she gives some of that money to her poorer friends. Like they do it all the time and they get judged for it. And personally, I don't judge them for it, because I don't believe in segregating human beings according to their financial status. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in any kind of segregation for that matter. Yes, you can choose who you associate yourself with. I don't have any problem with that. But I don't believe a social structure that is enforced that a woman cannot date a janitor because the CEO will look down on her. I don't agree with that. But that's just my personal preference for how society should be. But regardless of my preference, it's what happens. And then the CEO gets angry, right? Like I've seen guys on YouTube argue with women, oh, you wouldn't have dated me if I wasn't rich. Yeah, she wouldn't. Because instead of developing yourself as a man, you chose to get money, which does not define you as a man. You chose to get a status of a CEO, which does not define you as a man. So then the CEO gets angry. He's like, why are you still having sex with a janitor? And I know they do. I've never been a janitor, but I know when you talk to women, when they know you not judge them, they tell you a lot of things that they do. And because men are judgmental when it comes to that, they won't be honest about it. But I think if we can be more honest, then that's where people can find who they're compatible with, right? So you find a woman who believes in what you believe in, and she'll follow you based on your common and shared beliefs. But let's go back to our trap. Let's go back to our trap. So you are seeing this woman, and she knows you will persist when she refuses you sex, right? And you waited, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you had sex with her. Right? So you wait 2 weeks, some people wait 3 months, whatever, because she's hot. So you've waited. But now she knows you're willing to wait a period of time. So when she realizes that, wait a minute, this guy has a good job, He's good enough for me. He really gives me attention. He loves me. And the top shelf guy I really want doesn't have time for me because he's got 5 other women he's seeing, right? And by the way, once you build up your confidence, a woman's looks will not be enough for you to think she's good enough for you, right? You have other criteria. Yes, you can see that she's physically attractive, but you will not just date a woman or pursue her because she looks good. Whereas pickup artists and the red pillars I've seen seem to think that when a woman is good looking, it justifies all. But I digress. So she realizes, you know what? That's the best she's getting from all she can see when she looks at the money. So she's looking at the money, but watch it now. She's not that sexually attracted to you, but she's like, he's got the money, or he's got potential, so I'll be with him. But she's with you for that money. He's respectable enough, you know, he's good looking enough. Yeah, I'll marry him. Right? So now, when she decides that, she has to now eliminate all her competition. And that's where guys who don't have much experience with women get trapped. Because they've never had a female give them that much attention. And I've seen this happen to guys, and I feel sorry for them sometimes, and sometimes I don't. So she starts acting more like the fantasy she knows he wants. So he wants somebody to nurture him, right? I don't know why men think women are nurturers, because I don't see much nurturing going on in our society from women. Again, I'm digressing. So now he wants this nurturing female who just rides his dick from morning to evening. So guess what? She's gonna start giving him more of that. She's going to give him the fantasy. She's gonna treat him extra special, extra nice. And she must get pregnant because now she knows that, okay, based on the criteria I'm seeing, another woman may snatch him from me. But the fact that she's protecting you from being snatched by another woman does not mean she craves you or she desires you, right? When a slave ran away from the slave farm, when the master chased the slave, it wasn't out of the love for the fucking slave, right? It was because the master wanted his property on the fucking slave farm, right? So that's how fucked up it is. The master, the fucking, you know, controller, the of the person, the what's the word? What's the word? The control. How do you call somebody who not the proprietor, the perpetrator maybe, the person, basically the fucking enslaver, right? Does not love the slave, but does the enslaver protect the slave? Yes. Will the person enslaving the other person, so the master, let's go the master, will the master prevent another person from having the slave? Of course they will. Will they feed the slave? Yes. But that's not love. So when you don't have experience with women, when you don't have the knowledge and understanding that you are worthy of your own self as a man, right? That your own person, the same way as a naked woman is worth a lot, but a naked man is also worth a lot. And I'll give you a thought experiment in a moment that shows you that. But let's finish this story. So when the woman is preventing other guys from having that man, it doesn't mean she loves him. It doesn't mean she really wants him, but he thinks, wow, nobody has ever wanted me this way. Wow, she gets jealous when I talk to other girls. Wow, she's so possessive of me. Oh, she's wifey. She has sex with me. She even gave me a blowjob last week, right? So to an inexperienced guy, he thinks, oh, that's great. And if she also, she's like, oh, not today, he thinks it's normal. He thinks, oh, I'll show her I'm so understanding and loving, right? He's not thinking, fuck, I'm out of here. because he doesn't want to be the asshole. He doesn't want to be the bad guy. But notice, in the story I told you, when I denied sex to the woman, she got angry. And nobody is going to say, oh, she's wrong for being angry. And even men might call me a fool for saying no to such a beautiful and sexy girl, right? But I said no to her because she woke me up from my sleep. And I didn't want to be woken up from my sleep. That's my rule. Don't fucking wake me up except if it's an emergency. The fact that you want to have sex is not my problem. So I said no to her, right? So now a guy will call me a fool, but now she knows she cannot use sex to control me. But the guy in our story, she knows she can use sex to control him because he will accept being denied sex. And I hear this a lot when I work with fathers in family courts, right? So they say, oh, she was having sex all the time. She couldn't get enough. She was doing it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because she was trying to get pregnant. That's one. Two, it's possible that, and I know a lot of guys can't take it, but whoever she was fucking her really turned her on and increased her sex drive, right? And she couldn't have enough of that guy, so she was thinking about him and sleeping with you. It's possible. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying it's possible. But nonetheless, she needs to secure you. So now you get married. And people wrongly say, oh, it's the honeymoon period, whatever. No, 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 no. It's just the early on time. And I'm not saying she doesn't like you at all. What I'm saying is she doesn't see you as the top guy. She doesn't see you as the top shelf guy that she craves. Right? So now it's good, it's okay. She thinks, it's tolerable. But as time goes on, she gets to know you better and she sees how you are not what she wanted. And to be honest, you also see how she is not what you wanted. And this is where the difference between men and women comes in. Because men say, I made this vow, so I'm gonna stick it through. And women say, I don't like this. Fuck the vow. Now, I place no judgment here because I don't believe in vows written by any other person. If you made your own vows, that's different, right? I don't know how people do it now, but once upon a time, you just said the vows they told you. Nonetheless, regardless, women don't have the same value for their word as men do. That's one. Two, once we settle in, most of us are like, okay, I can prioritize my business, I can do this, I can do that, or my work, my job, whatever, the kids, and this is set. But that's not how women think. And remember, the foundation of the relationship was already wrong. Because if you watch back to where we started, you offered her a drink and she said dinner, and you changed your mind. And in the beginning, you were trying to impress her. Rather than vetting her to see if she's right for you, you were trying to impress her. Or you just took it for granted because you were like, wow, she wants me. I remember this one guy, his wife was, ex-wife was, I think she was like 20, he was like 30 when they met. So he felt flattered that, oh wow, a 20-year-old wants me. Like, why? Why is this flattering? Why do you think, what's special about a 20-year-old or 21-year-old? Like, what's special about her that the fact that she wants you is like a sign from the Lord above? She still takes a shit. She still bleeds once a month. She still pisses. She still burps. She still doesn't know a difference between $1 million and $1 billion. She still is a human being. What's so special? Why does she deserve a pedestal? Why do we make her above us? And if you disagree, make a comment. I'm open to disagreement, and of course, follow me and subscribe to me and give me some likes so we can spread the good news, the prophecy, the message to people, right? But now, so you're in this marriage and things slowly deteriorate. And society brainwashes us to think, oh, it's normal. That's marriage. That's relationships. But it's not true. That's not relationships. That's relationships that have a bad foundation. Because even though marriage counselors and coaches for married people will lie to you, you will never bring that spark back because that spark was never there. The only way a woman will really desire you with her pussy dripping for you is when you were your true self with her from the beginning and she was attracted to that, right? So that's why you see famous people or athletes and rich people, and then the wife is like, yeah, they like him. Like even what's his name, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, because he wasn't himself. If he was himself, he would have never married her. But again, we are still the brainwashing is so deep because we watch a movie and there's this guy so suave like James Bond and every woman wants him. There's nobody like that, and there has never been and never will be where every single woman on the planet wants him. And people think, oh, like hot women want different guys, ugly women want different guys. No, it's all the same. If you're a guy, right, a man, and you see a woman that you think is sexy, it doesn't matter if you're tall, short, ugly, handsome, well built, not well built, you will see the woman the same, right? It's the same with women. Because people say, oh, hoflation and bullshit. There's nothing like that. Every woman wants the top guy, just like every guy wants the top girl. And then people settle, both men and women, according to what they think they can get. They settle according to what they think they can get. It's not a thing that we want different things. Because a lot of guys, if we are honest, some of the women we've been with, that's not what we wanted. But it was the best we could get at the time. Let's be honest here. So women do the same, right? So now, where's the trap? You get married, she starts denying you sex. We fast forward to the day she decides to divorce you. And many of the fathers I've spoken to hadn't had sex for 6 years, 7 years with the same woman they were with. They were living with the woman in the house, but that's how long they haven't had sex. Some of them 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But whatever it is, for extended period of time. The longest case I've heard was about 15 years. And I'm sure there's longer times. But they still stayed in those relationships. But now, inevitably, you will still be making moves on her. But guess what? When you get to family court, she's now going to say, on multiple occasions, I kept saying no, but he kept persisting. That's what she's going to say because that's what they say. On this day and that day, I did it with him, but I didn't really want to. And I feel coerced, blah, blah, blah. And there are agencies, there are people who get paid to protect these females who tell her that, listen, I think he did something to you, and I think you should say it in court. And that's where all these accusations and false accusations come up. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter because it's possible that she said yes, but at that time, she has no qualms about lying about it. And then it is true that you pursued. So there's truth to it, right? So now, when you think about it, is it so bad to dump a woman when she's not interested in sex with you within a reasonable time? Is it so bad that when you invite a woman somewhere and she flakes twice, you never speak to her again? Do you see that it's worth it? If you have been in a bad situation with a female, think back. Do you not realize that it might have been better off for you not to pursue her, not to try to impress her, not to try to get with her after she kept showing you she wasn't really into you? Were the arguments worth it? Right? You see, people get angry about the bad boys, the players, and all that stuff. And I'm not talking about pickup artists or red pillers or people who deceive or manipulate women. I'm talking about the men who know that they are a gift, God's gift to women. Because you are God's gift to women. Every man is God's gift to women. So you have to be selective who you allow, who you accept. But you can't just say it. You have to really live it. You have to be about it. You have to be it. So the guys who, and I've had guys complain about it, like, oh, he thinks he's God's gift to women. Yeah. So why do you think all the women are after him? Why do you think he has so many girls? Why do you think he has so many women? It's because he sees his worth as a man and he acts upon it. So when he walks up to a woman, he knows he's worth it. But if she doesn't see it, he knows it's her problem, not his. And people will say that's arrogance. Okay, it's arrogance. So what? Is that not better than to be in a sexless marriage? Like when you make the sacrifice of yourself, when you make the sacrifice of your life to be with a woman who doesn't really want you, is it worth it? Is it worth losing half of your stuff, 10 years of your life, 15 years of your life, 5 years of your life for a woman who you should have dumped? And again, a lot of guys don't like it when I say this, but I have to say it. Sometimes the reason why all the guys the woman is crying about on your shoulder, like, oh, he's such an asshole. He dumped me. Yeah, because he could see it 5 miles ahead. This is not the one. Just like not all men are good, not all women are good. You have to, unfortunately or fortunately, it's just life, you have to look through, you have to select. It's like going for a job. You don't pick every job. You don't go to Indeed.com or wherever you look at for jobs and say, or LinkedIn and say, I'm going to apply to every job. No, you start with what jobs am I willing to do, right? You start with your profession or things that are related to what you are an expert in. You don't just apply to all the jobs. It's the same with women. You have to say, okay, is this woman compatible with me? And you have to search. Like a lot of guys will spend a year searching for a job, but they will not spend a year vetting a woman. They'll say, oh, vetting doesn't make a difference. Yes, it does. Vetting doesn't mean pretend vetting, where it's like, oh, I'll dump her if she does this. Oh, she did it. Let me give her another chance. That's not vetting. That's just doing what everybody else does. Vetting means, let's say you told her not to wake you up for sex and she keeps waking you up for sex. The next time we do it, we are done. And she does it again. It's like, we are done. Right? Oh, I want a relationship. It's like, I'm not ready for a relationship. And you let her walk. And listen, I've done these mistakes as well, right? But then guys end up, hating women. Like in my other video, I was talking about a post where it was saying, assume every woman wants to hate you and destroy you. No, don't assume that, but also assume that you are the best thing to happen to that woman. And how do you know it's the best thing? Because you do the best you can for yourself. Every day you strive to be better for yourself. For yourself. And that's how you get your power. All these things that, I'm not saying there are no problems. There are problems, obviously, when it comes to especially family courts, divorce, alimony, and all that stuff. Yes. But if we are more selective, we won't have those problems. You understand? The system is not ready to change for us. The system is not ready to say, you know what, let's start respecting and valuing men. The system is not ready to do that. So what point is there in waiting for a system to change that is not going to change? There are still many guys ready to spend $200, $300, $500, $1,000 and more on a first date. First date. Rather than realizing oh, if she will not show up, if I'm not spending $300 or $200 or whatever, then I don't need to see her. And the more money you have, the less money you should spend. The less money you should spend. Because if you try to show her, oh, I'm balling, I'm rich, you can't be upset that you're attracting a gold digger. Likewise, in the beginning, if she's like, I'm not ready for sex, let's wait, and then she made you wait 2 months, and you think, oh, she's so hot, and I just want to stick my dick in her vagina. So you think it's worth it. It's not, because you are devaluing yourself. You are devaluing yourself by doing that. Because it's different if you said, I want to wait 2 months, and that's your rule. Then I have no problem with it. And then she says, oh, let's do it after 1 month once. You're like, no, I do it after 2 months, and so forth. Now, people say that's not realistic. It's not realistic if you don't start reclaiming your masculinity. This is something you have to experience. Reclaim your manhood. And you start seeing a shift in how people relate to you and how women relate to you. You start seeing all these things for yourself. And you start dealing with women on your terms. And you not, like, I don't like argument. You're not engaged in arguments. I don't go back and forth with people on things. Yeah, I do it on social media because it's entertaining here and there, but I don't do it in my life. If I say something, that means that's what I meant to say. If I do something, that's what I meant to do. So I don't see a point in arguing about it, right? Sometimes, like, I'll go for a drink with a girl, and I know it's over within, let's say, 15 minutes. I know it's done, but because I want to follow through on my promise, I'll get that drink. But I know within, the next 30 minutes, I'll end it. Yes, the conversation is good, I'm entertained, so I'll have it for, let's say, half an hour, right? And then she'll ask me, oh, you having fun? I'll say the truth. I'll say, no. Are you going to call me? No. No. Right? And it's okay if you don't have the next date lined up, but at least quickly enough, you cut out a potential time waster in your life, somebody who could ruin your life. And you have made room for the good woman that wants you, that respects you, that values you. That's what you want you to do. That's what you want to be doing. And again, I'm not trying to say it's easy. Dating is not easy. People say dating is not ruined. What's ruined is people think dating is easy. Right? Like now, I don't go out as much as I used to because I don't have the time. But I do not intend to marry for a long time. So when I start going out more, I'll do it like how I used to do it, which was I'll go up, meet as many women as I felt like approaching. And I knew I would get rejected by many, right? And rejections are like, hey, hello, hi, what's your name? I want you to join me here. I want to talk to you. Oh, no, sorry, I have a boyfriend. It was nice to meet you. That's it. That's all it takes. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I really like how you're smiling at me right now. I want to see more of that smile. Let's sit over here. All right. That one wants you. You sit down with her. There's no fancy lines, but you're being yourself. When people say be yourself, people think, oh, how do I be myself? It's like your natural, normal self. You just say, this is what I want. Like there's nothing deeper than that. Like, don't fall for the movie magic where the guy comes with some, hey, the sparkle in your eyes tingles my medulla oblongata, or whatever the fuck fancy line that people come up with. There's nothing like that. There's nothing deep about it. It's just human nature. Men and women are attracted to each other. But when we put all these fake things around it, then that's when we lose our power as men. Because trust me, when you get a woman, right? So I think I mentioned this story before. So this girl was an influencer. I didn't even know she was an influencer, a fitness influencer, right? Like tens of thousands of followers. And the first thing I said to her is, hey, hello, listen, I'm looking at you and I just like everything about your body. Just like it. And she says, oh, excuse me. Oh, thank you. And we ended up going out for a while. I found out later she was a fucking influencer. I didn't know. I didn't even know. And people say, oh, influencers, this, that. I didn't even know. Because I just saw her as a regular girl that I found attractive. And I liked her body. And that's what I told her because that was the truth. She could have said, oh, thank you, I'm not interested. And then that would have been it. That would have been it. Because that same day, I wanted to another girl, and she says, listen, I like you, but I'm in a serious relationship. We've been together for 7 years. So as attractive as you are, I'm not going to do anything with you. Nice to meet you. Take care. There was another girl that same evening beforehand who was rude to me when I said hello to her. All right. And then this one ended up going out with me for a while. So dating is not ruined. Guys will use one example. Oh, she said this, she said that, or 5 examples, or even 10 examples, and use that as a definition. Whereas before all the social media, we knew you'd get rejected. That was part of the fun of trading stories. That was part of the fun when you met with your boys, you talk to your guys, and you say what you did. It was fun. It was fun, right? So dating is not ruined, but dating is not easy. It's the fantasy that it should be easy, that the first girl, the first woman you go out with, you should be married, or that they are not going to be rude women. There are many rude women. There are many women with mental problems. Yes. That's why you have to select through them. You have to be willing to choose. And you don't have to be James Bond. In fact, if you try to be James Bond, you will fail. If you try to do like the pickup artist, you will fail. Why? Because you are not being who you truly are. You are being somebody else. And again, that does not mean you should just walk up and say anything that comes to your mind. But also, it does mean that you should make it clear what you want. Right? At least we hear women say that. I'm not saying we should listen to all that women say, but before all this bullshit became big, this fake gender war, women would say, I want a guy who knows what he wants. Because she wants to know that you really want her. Right? And any woman who wants less than that does not want you. So, to summarize, what I'm saying today is this. You have to be willing to let go of many women to get the right one. Don't buy into the gender war. The reason why we have the problems we have today is because we've been raised to devalue ourselves as men and to put women on a pedestal. It is not our job to bring women down from the pedestal. We are not going to change society anytime soon. So the individual men who want something better for themselves have to maneuver and navigate within society as it is. So, can you have a woman who wants what you want? Yes, you can. How do you do that? Only deal with women who want what you want. When you get into family court, which we didn't have much time to talk into it today, but the more you are able to be yourself outside of the court, the more power you have, the more persuasive power you have, the more stamina you have to deal with the emotional roller coaster that the family court is. Because it is a painful experience, right? Don't take any of the words I'm saying to say that any of this is easy. It's very difficult. But it's something that you can come out of and be stronger and more powerful than you were when you went in. When you went in, you can thrive after it. You can build yourself up bigger than you've ever been before. You actually can do that. And it's not too late for you. No matter how bad you think it is, listen, even if she wiped out your whole bank accounts, everything, took your kids, you can rise up. You can. And in fact, it's your duty to yourself. And I would argue to your children, even in the extreme cases where they claim they don't want to see the father, I would still argue it's still your duty to be the best and the most powerful you can be for yourself. Is it going to be easy? No. It's hard, it's painful, it's difficult. But as they say, no pain, no gain. So try to step back and I accept that women do a lot of wrong things. Women do a lot of harm to men today, and there are a lot of injustices. I'm not denying that. What I am saying is they are not ready to change their minds. And I'm saying that the men who say, you know what, I'm not participating in this fake gender war. Let me just focus. Yeah, there's 1 million women in this town. Let's say 900,000 of them are full of shit, but there's 100,000 good choices. There's 10 women here, one of them is good for me. Oh, none of them are good, then maybe I need to go to the next town. Whatever it takes, right? Let's be realistic. Sometimes you have to search elsewhere and so forth. So now, if you're already facing false accusations and you need help, or if you're going through family court proceedings and you need some confidence, get in touch with me at bravefathers.com or send me a message. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I will see you again soon. I'm John Paul from bravefathers.com. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So again, follow, subscribe, all the things, like, and share what you think. If you need help, get in touch and I'll do all I can for you. Thank you. This is John Paul from bravefathers.com and I'll see you again soon.
bravefathers.com